My wife kept her inheritance for herself, but now she expects me to use mine to renovate our home, so I reminded her who owns it. Many people will probably think I'm a jerk after I tell this story, but I honestly don't care. It was finally time to stand up to my wife. My wife's name is Carrie, 54, female. We were both married once before, and we married each other about 10 years ago. When we got married, I was already a well-established man. I have a thriving career in pharmaceutical sales, and a house that I purchased on my own after my divorce. I met Carrie at a bar one night while I was watching the game with my buddies. As soon as we made eye contact from across the room, that was it. We could both tell that there was a spark between us. We sat down at a table together and talked for hours that night. For her age, she was a beautiful woman. I couldn't stop staring at her. She ended up coming home with me that night, and we've spent almost every day together since. But now, after almost a decade, I'm starting to think maybe she was only attracted to me for my money. Carrie didn't have an impressive career, but that didn't matter to me. She had charisma and a killer bod, which is what attracted me to her. It's not like I needed another person to supplement my income anyway. I was just looking for good company, which she brought. She moved in with me after just a couple of months, and we were married within a year. But I guess I should have paid more attention when the first red flag appeared in our marriage. About 2 years after the wedding, Carrie's mom passed away. She was devastated as the two were extremely close. Her mother left her an inheritance of about $250,000, not a crazy amount, but enough that we definitely could have used it to invest in real estate or something else lucrative. But Carrie refused. Instead, I never saw a dime of that money. She went straight to the bank and opened her own private bank account for the money. Then she insisted that she use the money to take her daughters on a trip to Europe because that's what her mother would have wanted. Then she insisted on buying a new car because her old one, which we had only purchased a few years earlier, wasn't what she wanted. Then the list went on. She bought jewelry, designer clothes, more vacations, more frivolous things for her daughters. Until one day, I asked her how much was left. And she said it was all gone. $250,000, completely wasted. I was furious, but held my tongue because she insisted it's what her mother had intended the money to be used for. They didn't have a lot of money growing up, and she was never able to spoil herself or her kids, so she used her mother's money as an opportunity to do that. I eventually let it go. We've had plenty of good times since then, and overall have had a good marriage. Until recently when my dad passed away. Before he retired, he was a very successful financial advisor and investor. My mom passed away before I met Carrie, but Dad had been living alone in his huge house before he passed. I was their only child, so I received their entire estate as my inheritance, the house, his properties, his investments, and about $2 million. Carrie was thrilled. Never mind that my dad had just died, she seemed like she barely even cared. She briefly comforted me and then started dreaming up potential uses for all that money. We decided that we would move into my father's house, as it was nicer than our current home. But Carrie had big plans for the house. It was beautiful but dated, so she said we would have to renovate it before moving in. She made grand plans for a full kitchen remodel, a giant pool installation in the backyard, even having a full movie theater put in the basement. From top to bottom, she planned to give the place an extreme makeover. I went ahead and let her make these plans, thinking there was no way it could add up to be that much. But then the quotes from contractors started rolling in. After totaling up all of the estimates, her grand plans would end up costing us about $1.2 million in the end. I was floored. How could she seriously think it was a good idea to spend over half of my inheritance on renovations? The house was perfectly livable as is. She just wanted all of these fancy bells and whistles to show off to her friends. I couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore. I told her she better not have put any deposits down on any services yet. Luckily, she said she hadn't. I told her that she needed to call every one of those contractors and cancel all of them now. Now this made her angry too. How can you expect us to live in a place like that without making a few updates? That place looks like the 80s threw up on it, she said. I told her I didn't care what it looked like. It was my inheritance, and we were going to spend it the way I felt was fitting. Your inheritance? What happened to what's mine is yours. We're married, you know, she said. I actually laughed out loud at this. Had she really forgotten what happened when she received her mother's inheritance? How she kept all of it from me and blew it all on frivolous things? If anyone knows about what's mine is yours, it's me. Here I was, giving her free rein to make some home improvements because I know that we're married and that she should have a say over what we do with the money as well. But not anymore. Any access she had to that money is long gone now. Let's not forget, Carrie, without me, you wouldn't even have this house, I said. After this, she was livid. She stormed out of the room, and we haven't talked since. That was 2 days ago. She went to stay with her sister, and I'm sure they've been having a grand old time making me out to be the bad guy. But honestly, I don't care anymore. She might have wasted her entire inheritance, but I won't let her do it to mine as well. I fully intend to do the smart thing and invest the money. Now I just hope she can come to her senses and realize how ridiculous she was being. But the one thing I know is that I am not backing down on this. Either she can live with me in the house as it is, or she won't be living with me at all. And if that makes me an a-hole, I don't care. Well, luckily, she did come to her senses. She came home yesterday after spending a few nights at her sister's house. At first, it was awkward, and we didn't say much to each other. But once we sat down in the living room with some glasses of wine, she apologized. She said she realized how out of line it was for her to want to spend that much money. She just wanted to have a really nice place and got carried away with the possibilities. I accepted her apology and decided to meet her halfway. It's true that the house could definitely use some updating, so I agreed to at least do the kitchen renovation and a few other cosmetic touches. And I agreed that we can make updates to the house over time as it makes sense financially for us. She said that this sounded good to her. We also talked about how her inheritance was handled all those years. She said that she realized a lot of these issues stem from a toxic relationship she'd had with money ever since she was a little girl. Something psychologically triggers her to spend money as soon as she receives a large sum of it, and it's always been an issue for her. It's so deeply rooted that when someone tries to stand in the way of her spending that money, it deeply offends her and compels her to end the relationship with that person. I'm just glad it didn't get to that point with us. All in all, this has been a great learning experience for us. I learned things about my wife's money habits that I hadn't known through almost 10 years of marriage. I looked into it further, and it turns out that therapy can help people heal their relationship with money. So we're going to look into finding a therapist and possibly go to sessions together. As terrible as our fight was, I'm grateful it did bring us closer together. I'm just excited to move up from this and get moved into our new home together. It's been 6 months, and life has never been better. We found a psychologist who specializes in financial issues, and we've made great progress together. In this time, we've been able to set a budget and plan for our future together. Although I'm still grieving my father, this has been such a beneficial time for Carrie and I's relationships, so I am thankful. Also, through our financial planning, I realized that we actually could afford the fancy pool Carrie wanted. We had it built before summer came along, and we have been enjoying it together, with plenty of money left over to invest, of course. NTA, honestly, it sounds like you've both turned a page. Originally, you both kind of sounded like a-holes, but this story definitely took a positive turn. Keep it up, Esh. Look, I love a feel-good ending as much as the next guy, and I'm glad you guys are working it out, but related to your story, you both acted like a-holes. Emo, of course, she didn't have a right to blow all that money, but you didn't have a right to turn around and rub it in her face that she wouldn't have any of this without you. You knew who you were marrying, and you said yourself that you knew she didn't have much when you married her. Just seemed like a cheap shot to me. I'm 28 male. Currently planning a wedding for this March. My fiancé and I are keeping it relatively small, with around 30 to 40 people. My parents got divorced a couple of years ago, and my dad remarried rather quickly to Jen. Jen is a lot younger than my parents, 32 I think, absolutely gorgeous, and this bothers my mom quite a bit. I get that it's a big age gap, but I figured she's an adult who can make her own decisions, and they seem really happy together, so whatever. She's always been super nice to me and my fiancé, so I have nothing against her. My parents' divorce was a little messy, with my dad initiating it. My mom will still make digs at my dad, but my dad just doesn't talk about her, or if he does, he only says positive things. Well, when going over the guest list with my mother, she had a bunch of family friends she asked if I was inviting. I told her no because those are people I don't consider myself close to, and my fiancé and I want it to be small, immediate family, some cousins and good friends. She asked if Jen was getting an invite, and I told her, of course, she is my dad's wife, and we have a good relationship, so yes, she will be there. My mom freaked out, said these family friends have been in my life way longer than Jen, and I'm choosing a gold digger my dad would be considered wealthy by most people over these people. I told her I'm allowing my father to bring a +1, and I never would have considered inviting my mother's friends, again, because I'm not close to them. She then said she doesn't know if she'll go to the wedding if Jen's there. Not wanting to deal with this, I told her that saddens me, but to make up her mind by January, as that's when we need a number for the venue. She then told me I'm choosing Jen over my own mother. I don't personally feel that way, but my older sister, who is Jen's age, also doesn't love the whole situation and is saying I should just uninvite Jen. AITA for keeping Jen on the list? Personally, I think Jen is awesome and would love to celebrate with her, and I think the whole thing is pretty dumb. I have offered my mom a +1 if she wants to bring a date or a friend. No, Jen was not an affair partner, though my sister and I both are pretty sure they either cheated on each other or they had an open marriage. The marriage never seemed like a great one as long as I can remember. While they just got divorced a few years ago, it was on life support far before that. NTA. But can you put yourself in your mom's shoes? She clearly doesn't have a +1. Her ex is bringing his hot young wife, who's barely older than his daughter, and as a final insult. Now she knows she doesn't even have her close family friends who she's known for years and can support her coming to this ceremony. I'd find room for another couple. Ask your mom to choose which one. Who cares if she has a +1 or a +2? Another couple, if you move forward as you are, sure, in the strictest sense, you're NTA. But you are putting an older woman whom you love in a tough spot. Even if, theoretically, sure, she shouldn't mind. I'd let her choose another couple, make her happy, all for just an extra person or two. There's being NTA, then there's being someone who goes out of his way to be there for his mom at a tough time. Be the latter, and congratulations. Weddings are about celebrating the love shared between a couple. That being said, we all come with baggage and families and backstories. Your parents aren't perfect. Your dad's quickly moved on with his life and is happy. It is much easier to be the nice and good parent when you're in a happy place. Your mom has not, and I'm sure her behavior reflects this. You aren't the a-hole, but your mom wanting a support group on what will be a very difficult day isn't the a-hole either. Honestly, I would suggest a compromise if you want to retain a relationship with her. She's trying to insulate herself, and that is completely understandable. You wanting a small wedding is also understandable, but honestly, I wouldn't sacrifice a relationship with a parent over it. Also, LOL at Jen being nice. She is your peer and married to your dad. She has to be nice to you. From elementary school to high school, my best friend was a girl named Ariana. In high school, this group of kids severely bullied me. Ariana knew about the group of bullies but ended up joining them since she wanted to also become popular and get close to a guy in the group. It obviously sucked, but I moved on and haven't seen Ariana since high school. I feel like my current life is pretty successful, at least by societal standards. Which is probably why Ariana reached out to me through social media. She apologized to me for the bullying in high school and explained that she needed help because she was leaving a bad relationship and needed somewhere to stay and money for a hotel until she could figure out permanent housing. I told Ariana that I was open to talking again through social media, but I really wasn't comfortable giving her money or having her move in since we haven't talked in years. Ariana accused me of still being mad over what happened in high school and holding it against her. I told Ariana that I forgave her for the bullying and wasn't mad about it anymore. It's just ridiculous to have her move in or send money when we haven't talked in, like, 7 years. A few family members who knew Ariana as my friend before high school said I was in the wrong for not helping Ariana. They said that popularity can seem like everything in high school. And even though Ariana caved to peer pressure, she was sorry enough to reach out to me and apologize. And I am cruel for not helping her when she's trying to get out of a bad relationship, and I am more than capable of helping. I understand that high schoolers can do bad things out of peer pressure, and I forgave Ariana for the bullying. I also acknowledge that leaving a bad relationship is tough, but I still think it's ridiculous for Ariana to move in or expect money from me when we haven't even talked in years. Am I the NTA? Anyone asking for money, especially after having not spoken for years, would strike people as weird and definitely make them feel uncomfortable. Your family's saying you're in the wrong, can assist her if they feel so strongly about the situation, but you have every right to choose how you want to spend your money and who you choose to invest your time in. There's no telling, really, how letting them move in with you would go, especially if you take into consideration how often couples alone struggle with adjusting to one another, even after having been together for years. It simply sounds like a last-ditch effort by reaching out to you, and it's also kind of insulting to get mad at you, saying you're still holding a grudge while she's actively trying to solicit help from you. It just screams, I'm trying to use you. NTA. Did your family members offer to put her up? There's a huge red flag here. She has no friends to put her up, no family of any kind willing to help her out. Why? Why is she calling a former victim from 7 years ago? Your concerned family members can club together and help her stay in a hotel for a week. It's not your concern, nor your responsibility. And I'd be very leery of anyone who has to resort to someone they parted on bad terms with and haven't talked to in 7 years. Want to know why she called you? You were nice. You didn't snap back at the bullying. She knows she can guilt you into this and get away with stuff while living there. She doesn't think you put your foot down. Don't worry about it. Do give her the contact info for any relatives. Uncle Buck sounded really concerned. Here's his Facebook contact. You can ask him directly. NTA. Unless you have a habit of letting people you hardly know move in with you or take your money, no one should be surprised you are not helping this woman. 7 years is a long time. You don't know her. Even if you had parted as friends, The separation of 7 years is enough that you have no obligation to her. This woman should have more recent friends, as well as family, that she can turn to. If she is coming to you after all this time, it may be because she has exhausted and/or alienated everyone else. Don't give her a penny, or she will keep coming back for more. She sounds like a user.